We were 5 when we entered the forest, and only I am left to tell what we found there. It was supposed to be just a hike, a weekend adventure, something to break the monotony of our lectures and exams. We packed light, just snacks, water, sleeping bags, and the reckless confidence of college students. The weather was clear, and the trail seemed easy enough at first, but sometime after noon, we strayed from the marked path. We argued about it later, whose idea it had been, but the truth is we all followed without hesitation. By the time we realized we were lost, the sun was already low, and every direction looked the same. We told ourselves we'd make camp, wait for morning. Then Emma spotted the house. It stood in a small clearing, crooked and alone, as though the forest had grown around it to keep it hidden. Its windows were dark, its roof sagged under years of rot, but it was shelter. Shelter meant warmth, safety, survival, at least, that's what we thought. Inside, the air was stale. The wooden floor groaned under our steps, dust billowed in the flashlight beams. There was no furniture, no sign that anyone had lived there in decades. Still, it was 4 walls and a roof, and we convinced ourselves it was better than freezing outside. That first night, we spread our sleeping bags in what might once have been the living room. We laughed to mask our unease, joked about horror movies where the characters always make the mistake of going inside the creepy house. We're smarter than that, Mark had said, grinning. But his grin faded quickly when we heard the first noise, something like a footstep upstairs. We froze, listening. Nothing followed. Eventually, we convinced ourselves it was the house settling, or an animal. But I didn't sleep well that night. In the morning, Chris was gone. His sleeping bag lay open. His pack was still there, but of him no trace. We searched the house, the clearing, the trees. We shouted his name until our throats hurt. No answer. The air felt wrong after that. Too still, too heavy. Emma wanted to leave immediately, but which way? None of us could agree on a direction, and the house, for all its dread, felt safer than wandering aimlessly. So we stayed one more night. That was the second mistake. Sometime after midnight, I woke to the sound of whispering. It wasn't clear, it seemed to come from the walls themselves, seeping through the wood. I sat up, heart hammering, and saw Emma staring wide-eyed at the ceiling. She heard it too. Mark mumbled in his sleep, and when I shook him awake, he swore he hadn't heard a thing. By morning, Emma was gone. Her pack still there, her shoes by the door, but no Emma. Mark cursed, screamed her name, punched the wall until his knuckles bled. Sarah broke down sobbing. I felt numb, like my mind refused to process what was happening. Gone, without sound, without struggle. We should have run, God, we should have run. That night, none of us slept. We sat with our backs to each other in the middle of the room. Flashlight beams cutting across the dark. Ours crawled by. Nothing moved, nothing breathed but us. At some point I must have drifted because I woke to Sarah's scream, cut off, strangled in her throat. The flashlight rolled across the floor, and in its spinning beam I saw her being pulled toward the hallway, her fingers clawing at the wood until they left bloody streaks. Then she was gone. The silence returned, heavier than before. Mark and I didn't speak. There was nothing left to say. We decided to leave at dawn, pick a direction, and keep moving, until our legs gave out. But dawn never came, hours passed, and yet the blackness outside the windows never lifted. My watch ticked on, but the forest beyond the glass stayed locked in eternal night. That was when Mark lost it. He started shouting at the walls, at the ceiling, demanding it show itself. You want me? Come and take me, he roared. Something listened. Asterisk from the hallway. A shape emerged taller than the doorway, its limbs bending wrong, as though it had been assembled from pieces that didn't quite fit. Its face was a sneer of features, half-formed, shifting like melting wax. The air stank of rot and wet earth. I froze, paralyzed. Mark charged it with a broken chair leg raised like a spear. The thing didn't even move. When he struck, the wood splintered as if he'd hit stone. Then its arms unfolded impossibly long and wrapped around him. His scream was short, choked, and then there was nothing but silence again. I ran. I don't know how long I stumbled through those twisting corridors, the walls stretching, bending, leading nowhere. The house seemed alive, pulsing, the whispers louder with every step. Finally, I collapsed in a room I didn't recognize, empty except for a single window. Through it, I saw the forest. Not the one we entered, but something older, darker. Trees moved though there was no wind, and in their shifting shapes, I realized they were watching me. I turned and it was there. The figure, closer now, its face inches from mine. Its eyes hollow pits that seemed to swallow all light. I wanted to scream, but the sound caught in my throat. And then I understood. None of us had ever left the forest. The house wasn't shelter. It was the forest itself, wearing walls and a roof like a mask. It had invited us in, and one by one, it was keeping us. I don't know if these words will ever be read. I don't know if I'm still speaking them, or if they are only echoes in the dark. But if you find a house in the woods alone and waiting, don't enter. Don't even look, because once it sees you, it never lets you go.